It's now my pleasure to invite Andrew Leigh, MP for the Division Electorate of Fraser, which is where we are, to introduce our speakers for the remainder of the morning. Andrew.
Thank you very much, Peter. Dignitaries have been well acknowledged this morning, so can I simply acknowledge the traditional owners on whose land which we meet, my parliamentary colleagues, Ambassador Akimoto, and the many representatives of the Gunghlin community and of Harrison School. I got my first computer in 1983. It was a brand called Aquarius. How many people have heard of an Aquarius? 2. Excellent. Pick the computer nerds. It had 3.5 kilobytes of memory and a cassette drive, and I used it frantically for the 6 months in which it lasted, before finally upgrading to a VIC-20, which had, I knew at the time, all the memory I would need. It had a full 5 kilobytes of memory. In 1984, Gareth Powell, who was then the computing writer for the Sydney Morning Herald, boldly said that no software program would ever require more than 16 kilobytes. And these sorts of predictions remind us of how poor we are in working out what future technologies will do. As Peter said, the inventors of the World Wide Web really thought of it as being a better way for scientists to share information. And that was because what they were familiar with was letters, and they figured that the internet would be a quicker way of sending letters. And I think the same holds true of superfast broadband. We can think immediately of applications that will be quicker, but you make a mistake if you take today's apps and think about how much quicker they'll run on superfast broadband. What you should be doing instead is imagining the new applications that will be created for a new platform. Just before I walked up here, my colleague Kate Lundy was kind enough to say, "You've got some residue of your new baby on your shoulder." Young Zachary is 4 months old, and over the time that he's using the internet, he will be introduced to technologies which are as radically different from what we have today as my 3.5K Aquarius, with its connection to the black and white TV and cassette drive, is from what we're now using. And we want to embrace that technology with a sense of excitement and possibility. Tim Berners-Lee, who is in Canberra and was hoping to join us today, talked about the invention of the internet as being a bit like riding a bobsled. He said you want to have a sense of where it's going, but you also want to just really enjoy the fact that you are going somewhere fast. And so what better minister to be overseeing the rollout of the National Broadband Network than the man who I understand is the best snowboarder in Cabinet, Stephen Conroy. Senator Conroy brings to the job not just an understanding of the technology, but a real sense of drive, of passion and of excitement. You can see it in his face when he's watching the Japanese school children there, that sense that this really is nation building, this really is changing the world. So it's my pleasure today to introduce Stephen Conroy to speak to you about what's happening today.